It is 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We are the PoP Baking Club. All you have to do is show up and you are a member. My name is Kathleen. I'm a certified executive pastry chef. And today we're doing granola, but I'm supposed to have a special guest. And I think she's here right now. So let's see if this works. This is a first for me. And I have sent the invitation. And if all goes well, this is Valerie Gordon. Hi, Valerie.
Are we on?
We are on. I can't see you on video, but I can see your
I see where I'm supposed to turn on camera.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, it's okay. There we go.
I mean, this is truly a first.
Yay!
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to meet you, and I appreciate you being here so much.
It's such a compliment that you're cooking from my book.
Well, I don't think people know what's going on because it's a surprise, so I'm going to let them know. And I know this is backwards. I will flip the camera, but everybody, this is Valerie Gordon. Oh, not that way. Not that way. I need to mirror it. There we go. This is Valerie's book, and this is how I found her from 2013, right?
Oh, yeah. It was a minute ago.
Neat. Yes, but to me, honestly, it really is like a minute ago. And thank you so much for being here. I know that a couple people, I want to call my students because I taught at the college level baking for quite a while. And when I found your book, what I loved about it, not only that it's beautiful and the quality of the ingredients is right up my alley, but it's really rare that you find a book that ranges from petit fours to, chocolate, and then all the way to baking and pies and everything. And I find that to be what makes this book remarkable. And I absolutely love it. So we're doing the granola tonight. And when I was teaching, my specialty were the entry level students. And as soon as they were acclimated and we could trust them with the quality and expense of the ingredients, we moved to this chocolate granola. And it was popular with everyone at this community college. I mean, I'm talking the entire school. So the fact that it's rich and, there's bitterness to it and it's complex, it didn't turn anybody off. It was like a bestseller, and it's a really good teaching tool. So that's what we're doing tonight. And to have you here is just insane.
I love it. Do you want to hear a little backstory on that granola?
I do.
So the idea of it was really to marry, because my company started as a chocolate company. And I always found granola was done the same way all the time. And it was hard to differentiate between different granolas. And I was like, what if this is really elevated? So a lot of the ingredients in this granola are quite expensive, right? Hazelnuts are very expensive, all of that. And it was like, what if we sort of marry a chocolate and granola? So that was really the testing. And there's also a lot of my chocolates have salt on them. I really love the marriage of salt and chocolate. And so there's a fair amount of salt in that recipe as well.
There is,
and it's very
imperative.
Crunchy, nutty, chocolatey. So I find it to be sort of a virtuous chocolate snack.
It is. It really satisfies by eating just a little bit, And I wanted to ask you, because a lot of my intention on this app, I'm obviously older and I'm a teacher, is instead of having it be, this viral thing where I'm trying to get tons of views, which I'm not interested in. My intention is to empower people at home, whether they're cottage industry bakers or home bakers. And my question to you is going to be, a lot of people ask me, how do you recipe develop and approach a project? Like, where do you start, and what advice can you give to people in their homes? Because right now I am hearing ingredients are expensive and people want to be careful about the mistakes that they make.
So what I love is what you were just talking about, which is like, and I always share the same goal, which is I want to empower people in the kitchen, but particularly in the sweet kitchen, because there's so much anxiety around it. And it's like, it's almost like people think they're going to get detention. Like, I'm always like, babe, you're not going to get in trouble. You won't be expelled. You know what I mean?
Right.
If your brioche doesn't rise or if your, pie falls apart a little bit. Nobody cares. It all tastes the same at the end of the day, and you're
Still eat
great.
it.
You're great. So everything about that book is really to create sort of like a mini encyclopedia of all sweet things. And it was very involved, and it took 2 years to write, actually.
You give a lot of technical information, especially on the chocolate side. Yeah, tons.
So when I'm developing something, I would say, number one, go with your palate. And something that I hear a lot is, oh, can I put peaches with blueberries? You can do anything you want, right? It's your dessert. Like nothing, again, like it's up to you. You're going to eat it, or you're going to serve it or gift it to somebody. So do what you want, right? Listen to your mouth, listen to your palate, always. Right. I also think as far as recipe developing goes, what's really good is to know the basics. So is it a meringue-based cake? Is it a creamed cake, right? In a cookie, is this a rolled cutout cookie that you're trying to do? Is it a drop cookie? Is it a scoopable cookie, right? And then I would go to something like your favorite dessert cookbook and look at process and proportion. So process and proportion of ingredients, like I can look at something now and go, okay, great. I want this, and this. It's got to be, 2-to-1, dry to wet, la, 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 la. And then I sort of break it all down. But if you use something, and let's just say you're doing, a pound cake recipe, pound cake recipes really don't change. And if you look at them, it's all about the proportion of the ingredients, right? And so I would look at something that is very well established, just so you start to understand process and proportion, and then go to town with your creativity. Maybe you want to marble, matcha and black sesame. That sounds good, doesn't it?
It does.
Let's go make it, huh? In a pound cake, and you're like, ooh, I kind of want to swirl it. Cool. Watch a YouTube video on doing that. And then the more you just play in the kitchen, the more confident you become. And I do like to use that word play, because that's all it is. You know what I mean? And then you can start to see, you'll start to understand, oh, well, if I'm baking with matcha or any spice, any other kind of tea, cocoa powder, these are drying agents in my recipe. So if I'm adding a bunch of matcha, you should probably take out that same weight in flour, or else you're going to get a drier cake. So it's like you start to just play a little bit and understand the technology. But I never went to culinary school.
Right, I read that.
Yeah, I learned how to bake and cook through cookbooks. And the more you practice, the more you start to understand just the very basics of how you do something. And a lot of it, then it's just sort of like about creativity and fun.
Yes.
Tweaking something. So say you take, you go to the Joy of Cooking and you take their basic pound cake recipe, and then you're like, oh, well, they've got lemon. I want to try grapefruit. Amazing. Right. Try grapefruit. And then you might go, what flavors do I like with grapefruit? I actually think some black pepper might be interesting in that, or maybe some coriander. Wow. What I always suggest to people is taste the ingredients together. You don't have to wait until something's cooked. Like when we're testing a new cake in our kitchen, we'll make like the buttercream, the cake and then we'll taste everything together. We'll build a little taste and go, does that work together? Before we're doing the whole thing.
Alice Medrich does, she has a book with different alternative flours that
Yes.
I made a gluten-free cookie recently.
Yeah.
And she was saying to get familiar with those flours, she was just adding water to them and eating them all like porridge. And that gave her a better baseline for how they tasted. And I thought that was a really good piece of advice.
Flours are so popular right now.
Yes.
My God. And they all do. They taste really different.
They do. Not only do they act different and function differently, but they do taste so different. My favorite right now is buckwheat. Do you do much with buckwheat?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're actually making something with buckwheat today.
Oh,
Buckwheat's my favorite gluten-free flour.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful color. What is your favorite color? Because I think I know what it is based on some of the photos, but I was wondering, what is your favorite color?
My
Because you do a
favorite,
lot visually with your book. Your book
I
is
do.
visually inspirational and also technical,
Oh my
which
God,
again
that
is
makes me
really
so
hard to find.
happy.
Yeah, it
And I
is. I love
styled
it.
every photo also. It
They're
was like
beautiful. Wow,
complete obsession.
gorgeous.
Um, my favorite color right now, historically, I've been a very black heavy person.
Mhm.
But right now, I'm really into blush tones.
Okay.
I really like blush tones. What color did you think it was?
I was
Gold?
gonna guess a shade of blue,
Oh,
but maybe
really?
not.
Yeah.
Or a shade of green. Maybe those are just my
I do
favorites
like
these
green.
days.
I like
I
green a
love
lot.
green. I like
Yeah, I
brown,
love
black,
green.
green, and blue. Those are my faves.
I love green, but blushy stuff, super fun.
So clean, and
Super
your
fun.
packaging is so beautiful.
Thank you.
So a lot of
Thank
people
you.
too are looking for this foundational information. That's why I think that's why I'm recommending your book. I think that people are lost looking at social media bakers and
Hmm.
not really getting that foundational information. So to
Hmm.
find, they say, how can you find a good book? How do you know what are red flags? So when I'm looking at a book, I'm looking for that technical information paired with practical experience, which obviously when you're running a bakery, you get that as well.
Hmm.
But they are looking for something to grab onto, the information and to be able to build on the knowledge in a practical way. And a lot
Hmm.
of people are starting to do cottage industry businesses
Yeah, for
in
sure.
small amounts. And so I always tell them they need two things. They need to build a toolkit and they need to build a boat. Like in their
Hmm.
toolkit, they need certain things like good books or decent tools or things like that. And then in their boat, they need people. And I don't always encourage people to share their dreams too much at the beginning. But the boat for me is who's going to give you support
Mm.
and guide you and that sort of thing. And I think nowadays you can find it in lots of different places. So what do you tell people when they come to you and they say, I've been doing this, people
Hmm.
like my stuff, but they're really itching to take it to the next level, but they're worried about spending the money or the investment in time, or they have a full-time
Hmm.
job or a lot of other commitments. And I know you
Yeah.
have a family, so you've probably dealt with the challenges of, limited time and money. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
bottom line.
for sure. What I always say to people who are interested in the food industry is only do it if you have to. Uh, and by that I mean, like, if you do have an overwhelming preoccupation with baking, with cooking, with creating things in the kitchen that you cannot turn off, and it distracts you from everything else that
Hilarious.
you
I
do,
mean, you're spot on. Spot
then go
on.
for it. If you're like, I kind of like to bake, I'd say do something else.
Right.
There are easier ways to make money for sure. The hours are always extremely long.
Mhm.
You do not live a normal schedule because, particularly with bakeries, uh, we have to work every Saturday.
Yeah.
Times of the year where other people are like, yay, I'm off. My business is closed from December 15th to January 2nd, and we are like chuffing, filling so many orders, right?
Yes,
So there is tremendous sacrifice in
there
running a
is.
food company. There just is. And a lot, I would say, particularly in the last 2 or 3 years, it is a much more dynamic industry in that it's much harder to anticipate costs.
Okay.
Everything is gold bullion now,
Mhm.
and you don't know from day to day what it will cost. And so, but if you have that undeniable urge, and you're like, all I want, like, I get off work and I go home and I'm baking. And during lunch, I'm Googling recipes and I'm
Right.
like every day, every day, every day. And everything else is uninspired to me, then go for it, you know?
I think that's
Um,
great advice. It's so true because you know the people who are like that. And a lot of my viewers tell me they are like that.
mhm.
Um, I mean, like I always say, I wish I could turn it off, but I can't. I just
Yeah,
can't. I would if I
yeah,
could.
yeah, completely,
Um,
completely.
so I know you don't have tons and tons of time. So I have one more question, but real
Yeah,
quick, we have an
yeah.
international audience. So I thought you should tell
Ooh,
everybody who you are and where you
yes,
are. Because
yes.
right now we might have people in Singapore and in the UK and in Canada, and they're from all over the world. And I've
Incredible.
been making like connections like I am with you right now with
Yeah.
people out there, and it's been fabulous.
This
It's
is
just
so
been,
cool, by the way. It's
it really
amazing.
is. It really is. It's been, I love teaching and I've missed my students because I moved right as COVID hit because my
Yeah.
husband got a job in Connecticut. But so this has given me that joy back to be able to connect with people. But why don't you tell the whole group just who you are and what your business is, and I'll show your book one more time. It's called Sweet by
Yay.
Valerie Gordon. It's
Yay.
beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So my name's Valerie Gordon and my company is Valerie Confections. We are Los Angeles based. We have 2 locations here. As I mentioned, I'm entirely self-taught. I started baking at the age of 7 and just kind of kept going with it. We ship all over the country and also internationally, and you can order from us at valerieconfections.com. So all of our chocolates, jams, gift sets, all sorts of stuff. Cookies, we ship internationally. So, and you can follow me.
Look at this. There's your
Oh,
salt.
thank you. It is.
Beautiful.
You can follow me on Instagram.
Okay.
I'm the Valerie Gordon is my Instagram handle. And if you have questions about baking, chocolate making, whatever, slide into my DMs. I'll totally answer you.
Nice.
And my company handle is the Valerie Confections. So pop by if you're in LA. There go the
This is
Petitfour.
my favorite. A petit four to me is,
Yeah.
I don't know why. They're my absolute favorite thing, and they always have been. And they're
Yeah,
very
same.
tedious. And yours are lovely.
Yeah, they
Lovely.
feel like little presents. That's
They
why.
are.
They're like little presents.
Are you doing the crystallized flour still?
Oh yeah, hand
Oh.
candied.
Gorge. I mean, it's just insane.
They candy so many rose petals.
Well, and
That
being
is
in
their job.
California, you're so lucky to have, I mean, we just can't get our hands on that kind of produce.
Where are
So-
you?
Oh, in Connecticut.
Oh, gorgeous.
And I'm a little,
Okay.
I'm a little out of my element because I'm from the Midwest. So like I've internalized the seasons there, the cherries and the apples, and I know when everything's coming. And here I'm just not as ear to the ground as I was, you know, in my former life. But it's funny because I was reading in your book that like my philosophy, I always say like your dessert is a complete sentence. You should not have to explain what you're doing.
Yeah.
You should just present it and they should understand what your intention was. And I read that you wrote every bite should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I was like, that feels a lot like a complete sentence. And I
Yeah.
think you and I are a little bit maybe think alike. Can you
Similar,
explain
yes.
a little bit? Because I know it's we've got a couple more minutes with you. I thought that might be a good way to wrap it up with your philosophy. Philosophy on a beginning, a middle, and an
Yeah.
end. When people
So that's
do
about
it,
flavor.
okay.
That's about, so whenever I'm developing a recipe, you know, there's some bakeries you go to and you're like, it's okay. You know, and generally what you find in that is there's no depth of flavor. There's one note to it. And so whenever I'm developing a recipe, I want to look for a beginning flavor, a high note, and an ending note. So you really go on, and it's the same thing if any of you taste wine. If you taste a sip of wine and you just get one note, that's not good wine, right? What you want is you want your palate to really come alive, and you want to be able to taste those acidic notes, those deep fruit notes, and end with a spice, right? And it's the same thing with a baked good. So everything I do, like the rose petal petitfour, for instance, when you bite into it, the first thing that you taste is the passion fruit in the rose petal passion fruit ganache. Then you get the vanilla, and then it all sort of melds together into like this sort of creamy textural experience. So everything, and if I'm not getting that 1, 2, 3, when I taste something, it's not approved. It's not approved. And that recipe has to go back, and then it's got to get reconfigured until there's a journey within the flavor.
I think that's a really good point. So hopefully people heard that, because I think, you know, I use a flavor Bible a lot, and I recommend it to people and encourage people to start a flavor notebook and that sort of thing. But it does play into the texture. And when you're describing the petitfour, I'm thinking about the chocolate coating, which is so creamy, and it has a lot of flavor. It's not chocolate, it's right. I mean, sometimes it is, but the white one, those flavors do all meld, and then they sit on your tongue and dissipate. So it is an experience, and that's what makes it special, I think, and memorable. So Yeah,
That's
actually,
always the
like on
goal,
Sunday, I
right?
was like, I should order something for Wednesday. And I was like, well, I don't know if it's going to get here. I was like, you need to just calm down. But yeah, I mean, it's all so yummy. And then I go to your website and I'm like, well, it's hard to stop. Like, you want to order a little bit of everything. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll happily send you some
Oh, no,
pinafores.
you don't have
Yes,
to do
I would love
that.
to.
Oh, Valerie.
I would
I
love
have had a
to.
wonderful time. Thank you so much. We're making your granola right now,
Yay.
and I already made some today, and our weather's horrible for it. I have to say, the
Ah,
chocolate's not setting. It's so humid and terrible. I don't know if it's humid there where you are right now. Is it
no,
humid?
we have drier heat here.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
but I'm very familiar with the Connecticut moisture.
Yeah, it's a challenge in the summer. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing is good. Like I don't want to make meringues. I don't want to do anything. So
Oh
it's a
yeah,
little
meringues are
challenging.
tough.
So yeah, we're working on ice cream.
Yeah,
Well,
for
thank
sure.
you. I know
Such a pleasure to
this.
meet you.
Oh, it was so nice to meet you. I can't even tell you what a wonderful thing. And it kind of was in the back of my mind many weeks ago because every week I put a selection on a poll and the viewers choose what we do.
Right.
And I kept saying, I know it just sounds like granola, but it's really good. And it teaches a lot. It's a lovely recipe and we're going to do it right now. And
Yay.
hopefully,
Have so much fun, everybody.
thank you so much. It was so nice
Yay.
meeting you. And,
Thank
you know,
you.
hopefully someday when I'm out in LA, we'll get to meet in person.
I would love to. I would
All right,
love
well,
to.
take care.
All right, have a great
wonderful
class.
evening. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
I need a Gen Z person to come help me. Okay, wait, no, I found it. Okay.
All right, thanks. Wow. Okay, there we go. Was that amazing? All right, so basically memes, and we're gonna come back to memes and Miss Ola after we get this granola started and in the oven, and we're gonna talk about their day, because in real life, they went to Valerie Confections today together. All right, so let's get going here. We are working on the chocolate granola from Valerie Gordon's book called Sweet. I do recommend this book. It is in cups and spoons and ounces, but if you've got, you know, your Jessica Reed's appendix, the baker's appendix, you can do the conversions, and that is what I did. On my link tree is this recipe. And for baker's percentage, we're a little bit weird because we don't have flour, but on the link tree, this is the exact recipe that I used when I taught it in real life for the student bakery. And we did 2 giant sheet trays and then combined them down to 1. I have this at a 50%, which will give us baking 2 half sheets, which we will then layer and make 1. So if you have a half sheet, that's great. If this recipe is too big, cut the 50% in half to make it a 25%, and then you'll be able to do smaller trays. So we have 1 bunch that we finish with, but the way you bake it is to divide it in half and crisp it up, and then you combine it. So this is on the link tree, and we have here the amounts of the original recipe, which is gigantic. This is the one I'm working with. These ingredients are grouped together. These are the nuts and the oats and the cocoa nibs, and then these are mixed together separately. The cocoa powder, brown sugar, honey, grapeseed oil, and the vanilla bean paste. Those are kind of the liquids. And then after it's baked, after it's cooled just a little bit to around 110 Fahrenheit, then I sprinkle chocolate on and I add salt. I went through and wrote some notes and put these on my Substack. This really just tells you a little bit about what ingredients are doing and sort of what is the beauty and synergy of this recipe. I'm going to grab my ingredients, I'm going to do my fit check, get my apron on, and we are going to get started. We'll get this together quickly. The oven is preheated. We're going to do a fit check, and then we are going to put a granola together. And that comes out of this book, Sweet, by Valerie Gordon. And it's just called Chocolate Granola. And you would think, I've been pushing this thing, you would think that it's just like every other granola, but it is truly extraordinary. And I think that if you are wanting to add something to your repertoire, it's infinitely giftable. It's great with milk or yogurt over it. It turns into sort of chocolate milk, or, you know, obviously it's a snack. So you can put it in a jar, you can put it in a bag, you can sell it. I like these sorts of things for if you're, you know, having little grab and goes, but it's exciting. So let me put some of my stuff away here and get started. All right, so these are my ingredients. I'm just gonna, well, no, I'm gonna clean my counter first. All right, this is my fit check. You guys know, I am here to work, so I have none of my jewelry on. I have short nails with no nail polish. I do touch my glasses too much. I need to go pick up another sample pair of contacts. I said, I can't see my screen. The whole point I need contacts is so that I can read your comments. Hi, Miss Ola, Team Granola for the win. Woo woo. So excited. You guys, you don't even know how appreciative I am. All right, so I am in overalls, which are safe. I've got my clogs on. Oh, thank you. I've got my clogs on, which are also safe. I buy inexpensive aprons. They're $5 a piece. Here's my apron. Let's move some things around. Wash my hands, get ready to make some food. And for sure, Dave is very excited about this recipe. He loves granola, and I haven't made it in a while, and this one is extra special. Wash my hands, and I'm gonna clean the countertop. I like to sanitize my countertop just to keep things safe. This food is going to be eaten by people who do not live in my house. I want to make sure that everything is sanitized, and then I'm going to wash my hands and we're ready to go. There we go. Granola is such a great recipe to work with in terms of, most of the time I use it to get rid of stuff in my pantry, but because these ingredients are so special, this is sort of like you have to shop for it. And here we go. This is the recipe. So I'm just going to go through and grab my ingredients, and I'm going to put them together in the two groups that I need them to go, which is thick rolled oats. This is how many there are, 2 different containers, 507 grams. These are slivered almonds, not sliced. If you use the thin sliced almonds, as you stir the granola, they will break and they will become almost like mixed in, which is not good. And they could overcook. So this is a slivered almond. These have been blanched and peeled. If you want to chop your own almonds or use almonds with skin, you may, but the skin can be just a little bit bitter, and these are a really lovely addition. You can get these at any grocery store in the baking house. So these are my almonds. And then the raw hazelnuts. These are also blanched, and you can tell, you can see the centers. Before we began, I went ahead and cut these because I knew we might not have the time. And a hazelnut is like, it's got a split down the middle. It has a seam. So I tend to use like a not sharp knife to just kind of crack them. I like them to be in half, and this is what they look like when they've all been chopped in half. If you want to cut them up smaller, you may, but they look really pretty. And actually, these are the 2 ingredients, the almond and the hazelnut, that I use to check for doneness. Because once we mix all the cocoa powder and everything into this, it'll be really hard to know if it's done. And we don't want to scorch this, because if you scorch it, it's done. You kind of can't use it. So that's not a good thing. All right, so we've got raw hazelnuts at 138 grams because I always round up. And then cocoa nibs. These cocoa nibs are one of the first things that they make chocolate mass into. And you know, you think, oh, cocoa nibs almost look inedible, and when you eat them, they're very bitter. But if you allow it to melt in your mouth and you just think of it as unsweetened chocolate, it's like you change your frame of reference. It's chocolate. Cocoa nibs are just chocolate. And what these are going to do is infuse more chocolate into this recipe without the sugar, which is a really nice thing. And as they roast, kind of like coffee, they're going to give some flavor, and that's really nice. So these are going together like this. This is my, remember how when I do my ingredients, I make sort of visual representations of what's going to go together? These are going to go together. The next thing that's going together is, okay, my cocoa powder. Cocoa powder, I use the Dutch process. It's very dark, and I just use Calabo from Restaurant Depot. It's very mid, nice. I like it, cocoa powder. Brown sugar is light brown sugar, and normally I don't scale it ahead because it can dry out in the wintertime, but with this humidity, not a problem. If you have dark, go ahead and use dark, but it calls for light, so that's what I'm using. The honey I'm using is actually really lovely. It comes from a local farmer. We buy it at the farmer's market. It's very, very soft right now because of the temperature, but this has a really nice flavor. So if you're looking at honeys, I think any clover honey, any typical honey that you get is going to be fine. If you're spending extra money to get orange clove honey or buckwheat or things that might impart more flavor, I think in this case with all the chocolate, I might save my money and go with more average honey. And then I am using grapeseed oil because that's what I have. I'm not using canola. It's kind of a bright color, but really what I like about grapeseed oil is it's more neutral than any other oil. I mean, it literally has no smell or anything. So that is my fat. And then vanilla bean paste, which is so beautiful. You can see all the vanilla beans in here. And these are my liquids. So these are all going to go in one bowl and these are going to go in another, and then they're going to get mixed together. The last thing we have here is, and the recipe calls for 61% chocolate, but this is what I have. And you can use any chocolate in terms of a couverture or real chocolate. You can chop up your chocolate. You can buy whatever kind of chocolate you want in a block. This just happens to be at 58% what they have at Restaurant Depot. They have 3 others that look like chips that are couverture, and one is 54%, one is a milk, and then one is white. So I just chose the darkest one I have. So it's not 61%, but it is plenty bitter. And these are discs, and they look like this. So what I did in advance is chop this up. And some of the larger pieces will remain unmelted at the end and will form clusters. And then the parts that are chopped up and a little powderier will sort of melt into those crags and create a little bit of a cluster so that when they're set, you can just pull them apart and have like bigger pieces, which a lot of people like. And then here's the salt that Valerie was talking about. This is quite a bit of salt, and you don't have to use it all. And actually, I meant to try to use Maldon salt, but I forgot. So this is just a kosher salt. So here's my tray. It's lined. This is what I had all my ingredients on, and I can use it to put my granola on when I'm ready. So I'm just going to put it over here. All right, so I wanted to show you my bowls. I made this today, and I actually used these 2 bowls. So this one bowl I use for my liquids, and this one for my dries. And this worked fine. I use my hands that are gloved to mix it, and I'll tell you how I do that. But if you're worried about if you're using a spatula, it's going to be a mess. It doesn't matter if you go up to a bigger bowl. I like to buy these Campbell bowls, and I have sets of them. You guys have seen that I have all of these up here. All of these in the smaller sizes are the same as the larger ones, and the larger ones are in the other room. I think I'm going to use the larger bowl and the smaller bowl. And the medium bowl, which I used today, I'm just going to put to the side. And this is what's fun about it. So these are going together, and these are going together. So I'm going to take off my labels, and I'm going to keep them over here like I always do. And these are all the ingredients that are considered dry. And I have them grouped in my recipe that I have on Linktree so you can see. So let's push these over here. And I'm not even going to mix them yet. I'm going to pour them in here. These are my oats, and I'm using thick oats, my almonds, my cocoa nibs, and my hazelnuts. Let me just double check I didn't forget anything. Nope. So this is them. The nuts are raw, everything is uncooked, okay? So then I'm going to take my liquids or my sugars and my binders, which are fat, and cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is going to coat every bit, and when we're mixing this, I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to use my hands so that I can moisturize every bit of it without crushing. So you can use a spatula and toss it, but I'm going to use my hands, and it gives me a feel. The feel is what I want, because the more evenly you coat the ingredients, the dry ingredients, the better finished product you will get. I will put the cocoa powder in first. The oil, we'll do the dryish. That's the brown sugar. And then the canola, I'm sorry, this is grapeseed oil. You can use any veg oil that you can get your hands on. If you start adding oils that have like a really strong flavor, like peanut oil or something, just know that it's going to change the flavor. And I don't think peanut would be good in here, but you get the point. I mean, maybe you have hazelnut oil, I don't know. Some oils can get very expensive, and that's why canola oil is often relied on, because it's less expensive. And grapeseed oil can be more expensive, but I don't use a lot of it. And you know, depending on the kind of olive oil you can get your hands on, some are very fruity and some pair well. It all depends on how intense you want to get. Okay, so let me just stir. This is my sweeteners and my cocoa powder, the honey, the grapeseed oil. I'm going to stir it to make sure there are no lumps, and then it's all combined. All right, there we go. It looks like that. And if you tasted it, it would not taste super sweet or anything. It would be probably very intense. So here are my dries. I'm going to attempt to put gloves on. You know, with this humidity, let's hope these go on very easily. Ooh, it's humid. Yeah, I can just tell they don't want to. Because this is being cooked. This is not a ready to eat food, so I don't need to wear gloves. The reason I'm doing it is the same reason sometimes when I'm working with buttercream, I wear gloves, because then I can touch it and just pull the glove off. But I want to be able to feel the grains as I add the liquid. This doesn't fit. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix this together. Now this is important. I don't squeeze or stir, I'm not rough. I actually, you know, when I talked about doing cinnamon rolls, there's like this lightness where you're not squeezing and pulling and lifting. So there is really just a gentle moving things around and incorporating, just getting started. Could I just pour this on here? Could you add everything all at once and mix it up? Sure. But you know, I like to give everything the best head start that I can so that I get a better result overall. So this is gonna go in here. And then, kind of in a way, I mean, you can look and see for signs of doneness, but what you are doing is actually feeling that you have coated every last bit with this mixture. And again, that's so that when it goes in the oven, you don't have hot spots or bare spots. Everything is even. The more even, the more lovely, whatever, the better the finished product, okay? So it's just sitting on top. Now I'm going to lift from the bottom and I'm going to start just moving it around. I will squeeze it and everything, but it's not a, you know, honestly, it's not breaking any of the nuts. So then I'm gonna lift it and massage it. Every single one of these almonds is going to be intact. I'm gonna gently massage it. And this can take a minute. And just when you think you have it all mixed in, you'll find a chunk. So I always really like taking my time with this step. And at this point, you do not have the salt in here and you do not have the chocolate. Those go on last after they've come out of the oven. So we're gonna take this mixture and divide it between two trays lined with parchment. I personally do not like stirring granola on parchment because the parchment moves and things get underneath it, and I really like a Silpat better for the stirring. But what I like about the parchment on a single sheet tray is that it gets nice heat conduction. So I don't want to use a Silpat and mess that up. And so I have to be just a little bit careful, and I use the King Arthur bench scraper that's made out of plastic, and that's a nice gentle way, because what we're going to do is check on this every 10 minutes. It's being baked at 350 degrees. For me, it's been baked in a hotter oven because sometimes, you know, the oven you're working with is like that. So it can handle the heat, but then you need to be careful stirring it. And when I stir it, you'll see what I do. I'm methodical about the order in which I stir, pulling everything from the outside of the pans toward the middle, and then distributing the middle toward the outside. That way you're moving the heat from the outside in and then the in out. And that is actually, it's not a stirring, it's a moving around and redistributing the hot parts with the cooler parts. And that's how this will begin to toast. So the sugars are going to melt. Some of these ingredients are going to be absorbed by the oats, which are thirsty. They're very thirsty. And those oats are going to be sort of changing and beginning to build a structure of sorts for the whole thing. And as these things melt and get absorbed and sort of coalesce, you're gonna get this beautiful flavor. And the thing is it'll be in the oven for like 4 minutes and you'll start smelling how good it smells. It does not take long. Okay, so now what I'm doing, this is all mixed. You can see that it's not bad. There aren't a lot of dry areas, okay? I can't really see any oats that are uncovered. So now what I'm looking for are clumps, okay? So I'm gonna go through here and just feel and break up the clumps. Chocolate is very sensitive to heat, so you have to be very careful that you don't scorch pockets. And if you smell scorching, you need to get it out of the oven. It is a very expensive recipe, and that's why you really should pay attention. You shouldn't walk away. This is something that you need to use a timer for. And most of the time I say a timer is just there to tell you something's in the oven. But in this case, it is to tell us that we have to stir it and then put it back in the oven. All right, so there's no rush to this job. It takes as long as it takes. And as I squeeze and I'm gently moving it, I can feel the clumps being broken up. And those clumps are made up of cocoa powder and sugar. So we need to make sure, those are the things that are gonna scorch the first. So we need to make sure that they are mixed in. And we're gonna be very gentle so that we don't break all this up. Like I said, all my almonds are still intact. And it looks like light in color, and this will darken up. We are going to look to the nuts for doneness. Signs of doneness are color, smell, and texture. First, it'll get a little liquidy, a little glistening as things melt out, and then it will start to dry out and crisp up. And the fat is gonna help it crisp up and be crunchy. The sugar, the brown sugar, is gonna give it a lovely flavor and a little bit of softness. So like, it's going to be chewy, but crunchy, but not brittle. It's not going to be brittle. It's gonna have a nice texture. All right, I think we might be good. Perfect. All right, now I'm gonna get it into the trays and then into the oven, and we can chat while it cooks, and I will show you how I stir it every time I pull it out of the oven. Okay, so I think it's looking good. So I take all this off. I don't want to waste anything from the gloves. Boom, boom. I'm gonna pick up all of my ingredients, the labels, and put them to the side. Clean up a mess here. And then I'm gonna get the trays. 1, 2. And I'm just gonna divide this in half. And this is the bench knife I'm talking about. It's made out of plastic. It's from King Arthur. And it's a nice tool to scrape and lift. There are a lot you can use, but I just happen to like this one. Okay. I'm gonna aim right for the center of the pan. And if I don't do it evenly, I will adjust it because I want these to be even as I possibly can. All right, you see how it's all clean? The bowl is not sticky. Like this was the original bowl with the chocolate in it, and this is it, because all of that chocolate is now very evenly on my bowl. So I'm going to spread this evenly toward the edges, and I even use the corner to kind of make some divots. You want surface space, and you want to use up, you don't want it to be too thick anywhere. You want it to be even, and I think we have a little more on this tray than I do in this one, so we'll spread it around. So we don't want thick spots. We want everything to be evenly spread out, and when it comes out of the oven in 10 minutes, we will move it around again. And for now, that's it. I mean, it's not that it's a complicated recipe. It's a recipe that just takes care and your attention. That's the biggest thing. So I'm gonna throw these in the oven. And my oven, I have one rack up here and one down lower. So every time I pull them out, I'm going to swap them because the top of my oven tends to reflect quite a bit of heat down. All right, so these are going in the oven. So 10 minutes. Okay, clean up the counter. I'm gonna need my racks because these are gonna be very hot and I'm going to need them to stir my ingredients. All right, so we have 10 minutes. I was hoping to have Memes and Miss Ola on because they were at Valerie's today and I thought we could talk to them if they want to join. We can do that at any time. I might have to be stirring, but we can talk. I've never been to Valerie's and they are two viewers that have been here for a while with me. Okay, so I got it.
Hi.
Hi. Are we going to be able to?
Hold on. Let me try to get my camera on. Miss Ola went inside of Valerie's to see if they're ready to give us a quick hi.
Hi. It's so good to see your face.
I know. I'm masked up because I'm seeing some immunocompromised friends later this week, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's smart.
But I'm headed in now.
Okay. Just go ahead. Tell us what you're doing and how you two got together.
Well, we met obviously here, and we live close to each other, ish. Her best friend actually lives pretty close to me, and so we had been planning to get together to do something fun, and this happened to just kind of line up like amazingly.
Crazy.
So here we are.
It's so exciting. You guys are creating excitement. Hi. It's you. How are you?
I know, it's so surreal.
It is. It really actually is. Oh my gosh, such a beautiful shelf. There it is. Oh my
And
gosh.
interestingly, it's sliced almonds in there.
They are sliced. And maybe there's a different, I don't know.
That's their house regular. And then I wanted to show the pedophores really quickly because they're so beautiful.
They are beautiful. Look at that. Oh my gosh.
Could we also show them the cake, the other cake that they're famous for?
Oh, yes.
Bloom crunch cake.
This is their crunch cake, and it's like their most popular one.
Is the Kathleen, if you remember, I was telling you about a coffee cake, a Bloom coffee cake. That's the one.
And I was just looking at it in the book. So there is a recipe in the book we could try.
Yeah.
It looks very advanced, but really, really nice. Did you have a piece of it today?
Oh, every time I come.
I don't blame you. Look how beautiful you guys look too in your sundresses. I love it.
We're kind of
Yeah.
watching, right?
We're very summery today. So we have Stan here who might give us a quick little tour. And Miss Ola actually bought a cake, and we wanted to show you guys really quickly. If that's okay.
We're into whatever you guys are into. You guys are doing great.
But Miss Ola bought this beautiful, beautiful cake, and we're gonna show
So
it
the
to you.
flavors of the cake is
sorry.
okay. So the flavors of the cake is passion fruit with no, excuse me. Okay, let's him show us. This is Valerie's husband.
Hi, how are you?
He calls himself the taller half of Valerie's Confectionery.
For reasons that should be obvious.
Right.
Ooh, beautiful.
That we're doing. This is a pistachio apricot cake. So the cake itself is a pistachio cake. It's layered with not an apricot jam, but an apricot compote. So when Ola cuts this cake open, it gets a little oozy in the best way. This is one of our 6-inch cakes. So there's going to be 2 layers of cake separated by the compote. And it's really a beautiful little cake.
Are those chamomile flowers?
They are. It is chamomile on the top.
Beautiful.
Which
Gorgeous.
is edible,
I
but
mean,
if there's flowers on a cake, you never really want to eat them because ultimately they're going to taste like flowers.
but they're beautiful though. Beautiful.
Thank you, Stan.
You're
Stan,
welcome.
so we also wanted to see your confectionaries because most bakeries don't also have
Well,
chocolate.
when we started out really just as a chocolate company. We started in 2004, so we're 21 years old this year. We're finally legal. And when we started with just 6 flavors of toffee. So it was almond fleur de sel, orange, ginger, mint, and classic toffee, which is sort of like the foundational recipe. The packaging was all designed to feel timeless. It's like a corduroy ribbed ivory box with a gold logo on the top, which has evolved a little bit over time. And you can see if you want to scan down into the case, we don't have everything on display here, but we have some of our chocolate products, our personal, like our line of our own chocolate bars. We also have some collaborations that we've done with different friends. This one's a lot of fun. This is a super chocolate food, sort of like chocolate as food. If we look down below that, then you're going to see some of the different pieces of the chocolate. And at the very bottom, you'll see the wider, flatter squares. That's the toffee. And it's a crisp butter crunch toffee, the kind that doesn't stick to your teeth. And really, there are a lot of other companies that make nice toffee, but I really do think ours is the best.
They're beautiful, very clean, gorgeous, and I like the size. They're not too big or too small. They're like the perfect amount for a couple bites.
Yes.
Yeah, and actually, once Valerie finished developing the recipe, the next step was figuring out how big we wanted it to be. What's the perfect size? And then we got really close, and then we kind of isolated a footprint for it so that we could scale it out. So it's essentially packaged, it's 1 3/4 inches square. So in a 4-piece box, it's 3.5 by 3.5.
Okay.
So it's kind of keeping the consistency of the size of that product helped us to scale the boxes and make towers that were all really well balanced and in the correct proportion. And then the truffles came later, and then the bakery items came later. The funnier thing is that, Valerie is is a totally trained self-taught baker. It's one of our favorite items at this location. It's a mochi shoyu caramel cake. So it's gluten-free because of the mochi flour with black sesame in the cake. But it's really just, it's essentially a salted caramel, right? But because they're baked, the cake actually it has the chewiness, but it also gets a nice sort of crispness on the exterior. And then it's topped with what's essentially a salted caramel, but instead of salt, it's shoyu. So it's really sort of elevated soy sauce. And then it's all topped off with a little bit of house-made soy salt. So ultimately, it's a salted caramel top, but you get, if you're really paying attention to it, you get a little more umami nuance, which is really delicious.
That sounds like unbelievable and like a standout nationally.
And I think that speaks to what Valerie was talking about earlier, combining saltiness with chocolate and
she really
desserts.
likes to have everything balanced, and I think I heard part of the conversation. She really wants every dessert to kind of tell a story.
Yeah.
So there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to everything that she's trying to develop. And so layering in sweet and salty together, layering in some little unexpected twist can really kind of open it up.
Wow. Okay, can you tell us a little bit
Well,
more?
we're at the end of the day here, so we're looking a little picked over. This is our creme fraiche scone, which is another real favorite. I was there because I learned later getting bad scones. This is light and
I have to try this the next time.
really delicious. There's a little bit of lemon zest in it. The creme fraiche scone, I think it's in sweet, but if it is, it's definitely something worth trying.
Wow.
Okay.
If you haven't already, Ola, you can take a look. You can kind of
yes.
show everybody the wall of the all of the chocolates and all the boxes.
Let's get a wide view.
Such a beautiful shelf. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but it's gorgeous. Not silly. It's beautiful.
And let's not forget, they also do jams. So you will not believe.
No.
Outside, we were sitting outside watching the live. Then we look up, and guess what we see?
What?
A vine of passion fruit.
No
growing
way.
right above our heads. And it's
I
the
wanna move to
season for it.
California.
Yeah, only in California and only at Valerie's. What bake shop? And I asked them, do they use those passion fruits? And they said yes, right?
We do a passion fruit pie. And the
Yes.
pie itself is made with this passion fruit puree. It's like a key lime pie, but the bright tart fruit is passion fruit.
Yeah.
And but we do the pie itself is a graham cracker crust, and then it's got little wheels of whipped cream around the top, and then a little well is created with the back of a spoon, and then we spoon fresh passion fruit from the garden into a little well there. So you get, as you're sort of winding down the piece of pie, you kind of get hit with this burst of fresh, bright passion fruit. And the crop this year, it's funny, we've had it for a few years, and Valerie had this vision of a passion fruit vine covered patio where we could, originally it was just for us, and then we decided it was too pretty to not open up to customers. But we host an afternoon tea out there, which is really lovely.
Yes.
And the passion fruit is, it just came slowly, and then it floated. So if you're ever filming out there, when you go back out, it's a totally shaded area, which is very important in this part of California as we move into this warmer summer months.
Yes. Wow.
And what kind of tea do you serve? What is your tea and coffee situation?
Well, we are the tea menu here. This is our afternoon tea menu currently. Ooh. So we're working with reishi teas at the moment, which is really lovely.
I love reishi.
Everyone starts out
every day.
Reishi too.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I weigh it out and everything, and I do the temp. Yeah. Big fan of reishi. That tells me a lot.
We are too. And so then we do, in the warmer ones, we'll do a couple flavors as essentially like a cold brew. So the leaves go into room temperature filtered water, which then goes into refrigeration for 24 hours. So we do serve that without ice because it's really, really smooth. You end up with a very rich, extraction from the tea leaves without any sort of acrid acidity. It's just delicious. It's a couple of mini scones. We do it with a trio of marmalade or jam, whatever is fresh and seasonal. We have some stock jam preserved flavors that we do year round, and then we mix it up though when we're making jam to serve in house. It's really just whatever's fresh at the market. And then the afternoon tea also right now is it's kind of a deconstructed California casual tea, but it has a lot of familiar elements. There's a cucumber and mint sandwich, cut into smaller squares with the crust cut off. Egg salad, which is a perennial favorite for us. There's a little salmon tartine, which is with trout roe, and she's also doing a lobster salad, like a lobster salad tartine, which is tremendous. And then it all comes out on a tiered tower, and then has every empty space is covered in with fresh fruit from the farmer's market, which is a lot of fun.
It must feel really great to be part of something so high quality. And like, I can tell that every single thing that you're doing, like you get every single part of it is with intention. And it's just so important to me. And I can see it all.
I think that any good bakery's got an extremely high attention to detail. And Valerie does a great job of, what she calls modern takes on classic confections. So she doesn't, if somebody out there is doing a product and she thinks it's perfect, she won't make something similar because there's no real reason to. So, we only sell a couple packaged cookies right now. One of them is a malted shortbread cookie, which is ridiculous. And
I ordered that when I ordered mine. It's so delicious. I love shortbread, and that's really good.
Allegedly, when I open a bag of those cookies, I finish the whole thing. There's no evidence to really prove or disprove that theory. Like that is what some people accuse me of doing.
Are you sure? There's no evidence? You hide the evidence.
Behind. I do, as I was noted, I have a good attention to detail, and I'm not going to leave an empty bag laying around. Okay. So that's the little shop, and I agree. I think that there's a very high attention to detail, and it's not always easiest in an economy that kind of moves to and fro, but it's really wonderful to have a product that is an indulgence and an extravagance, so that we really think, and I'm sure you share this sense. You can really change someone's day with the right bite.
Yes.
The motto of the company when we started was for gifts and personal indulgence, which it kind of remains. And so every time we're packing something up, we try to think of it as a gift someone's going to receive.
Yes. And I have ordered from you, and opening that package, I did a video on it, is beautiful, and it's an experience. It's beautiful. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for involving us in the class, broadly speaking, with the recipe, and personally reaching out so that we can hop in and say hi. Hi, students.
And that's memes and Ola. I mean, the people that I've met through this process it's been truly extraordinary and life-changing. So thank you. Thank you. You took a lot of time. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So we are going to step outside and have a quick chat with you guys.
Is that insane? Just between us?
They have some customers.
Okay.
Yes.
Like, get out of our way.
A little chat between us.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. No, they had a customer come in, so
Okay.
we didn't want them waiting too long.
Well, how nice.
And Miss Ola's grabbing her cake. But yes, we want to show you the patio and the passion fruit.
Yes, I want to
if
see.
you-
Lemon Italian buttercream.
A lemon Italian
The
buttercream.
only place in LA I could find that does
sorry.
an Italian buttercream, much less lemon.
Oh my gosh, look at that vine.
This is their little back patio, and then I'll do a little close up on the passion fruits that they have here.
Wow. What color do they turn when they're ripe?
More of a purple, so like similar
wow.
to this or that.
Unbelievable.
There. Yeah, but it's the whole thing's covered in passion fruit vines.
You guys want to watch me pick one?
Yeah, Miss Ola's
If I'm tall
gonna
enough.
Miss Ola's gonna grab one. They said we could take one. Oh no! They said we could take one if we wanted to. So
Nice. Beautiful. Look at that.
Miss Ola got a slice of the passion fruit pie and also the quiche as well.
Ooh, I love quiche.
So we've been snacking on that a little bit while we were waiting for the granola. We even brought a tripod and everything, Kathleen.
Nice. You guys are the best. I really am speechless.
We encourage everyone, if you're ever in LA, if you know anyone coming to LA, this is where to come. Literally everything that you preach about, just kind of what you said about the Rishi tea, they literally emulate everything we learn here. Your style, your approach, your technique. So it's so good to see another bakery do it the way, you know, that we're learning, and we're trying to do it here. So
It's like going to church, isn't it? You have to, and you guys can stage there. Like, you can ask them to stage there, and I'm sure they'll let you. How exciting would that be? You have to go to the Church of Pastry in order to get inspired and to know that, like I said, people make fun of me for using all my little things and whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is there are people out there who think like you, and then you go to them and you get inspired and you feed yourself, right? Because it's just an elevated way of thinking. It's not anything other than like this pleasure, you know?
Yeah.
Like Valerie said, if you can't stop thinking about it and you're obsessed with it, you should be doing this. And yeah, so I think finding these places is really important. I mean, and it's weird because when her book came out, I think it was nominated for a James Beard, and you know, I don't buy all the books, but I remember seeing it and thinking it was really special. And then when I ordered it, because I had waited, when I started TikTok, I was like, I want to use it as a reason to order, you know? And it really is special. I mean, you guys are so smart to recognize it and be there and say, it is like the Holy Grail, and it is something to reach for.
But I have to thank you, because honestly, without your knowledge and your exposure, I would not know how to appreciate something like this. I would just think
That's
it's
amazing. Thanks.
But now, because I understand the basics of baking, I understand, you know, ingredients. I understand recipes, good recipes, right? I understand these baseline things. So now I can identify special places like this and really appreciate it, not think it's just a big shop.
And you see that no matter how cuckoo you get about ingredients, no matter how detailed you get about methods, no matter how weird I get, there's people out there who are doing it every single day. And those are the people that I follow. And so when people say, who do you follow and whatever, you can kind of see where I tiptoe around the answer because there's no, there's no comparison. And so you have found one of the best people in the whole country. I mean, you are they really are. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Let me stir this and I'll get it back in the oven for 10 more minutes.
Yeah, no problem.
And I can't believe you guys are like learning when I met all the people from French Pastry, it was like this light bulb moment where you just go, oh, like you're supported in these thoughts, you know?
Yeah, I think also one thing that has really helped as far as like following your videos and your lives and the class itself is just kind of being able to better spot like things that are actually likely going to be very good and then things that are probably going to be a little bit mid.
Yes, because you get a language. Even looking at the menu there, you read the menu board and you think, oh, is it just a menu board? You begin to see even the description of the shoyu cake.
Yes.
And caramelization of the egg. I mean, I want it so bad, I can't even stand it. Those little things inform your vocabulary, and then you start to target them. I don't know, it's like you're building an intuition. I told you, you're building this knowledge that only you have, you know? Exactly. But then we all speak the same language, and then you can share it. But first, you have to build it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So cool. I know. It was very hard for us to choose just a few things to get this time around.
Oh, I'm
sure. A little bit of everything, but we were like, okay, we're doing too much. We're breaking the bank a little. So we need to calm it down a little and say something.
That's the hardest part. And when I travel, I'm like, oh, what should I do? I don't know what to do. And then you go to 3 or 4 bakeries and you're full and you're like, oh. That's why Dave and I end up eating at the hotel at 11 p.m., you know, on a towel. We'll just put everything out on a towel and eat it.
Yeah, thank goodness you have Dave, because at least you can split things with him.
Exactly. And I'm going to be I got to go visit my daughter in New York. She said, like, she's going to be busy in September, so she was saying, really, if you can come, and I really should make it work. I would have to do my Saturday from there, but that could be kind of fun. But I already have more, there's so many bakeries I want to go to. And she's like gluten-free, so we do get to try some of those places, which is fun. Kind of expands my repertoire. All right, let me show you this. So I pull from the edges and then put it in the middle, and then I spread it back out. So it's getting, I'm not going to pick up a nut because it'll be hot, but see how they're not brown yet? They're like getting oily. The nut begins to express the fat, and then it starts to brown. Okay, that's when the Maillard reaction starts to happen with the sugars and the fats and stuff. No. All right, let me put these here, and then we'll come back and see what you guys have. All right, 10 more minutes. I think it's going to have another at least 20 because I really wanted to. I'm not going to scorch it, but I did make it today, so I think it's going to be 20. So.
Funkier than theirs does.
It is, and I think that they have pepitas in there, right? Yes. It is slightly different, and that's one of the reasons that I ordered it is because, and again, I may have adapted it a little bit because when you have a whole class, you need to make sure that it's turning out. You know what I mean? And I haven't altered the ingredients at all, but I have altered just how I let it cool and how I finish it, just a tiny bit, just to make it clump a little more. But anyway, I want to see what you have.
All I got was the granola because I need to for sure try this.
And I already ate all my goodies.
Yeah, so Miss Ola, she got the passion fruit pie. You can tell them about that. Yes, a piece of it.
Okay.
Passion fruit pie.
Yeah, it was everything would want it to be. It was exactly like imagine key lime pie, just passion fruit, but not too tart.
Quiche Lorraine.
Yeah, the quiche. You remember when we made a quiche, and you were so exquisite about the type of crust, and I could see how that translated here. It was all about the crust, right? The
what
crust.
was it like? Tell me.
It's a combination of a pie crust and a croissant. It's flaky. Do I still have a little piece here? Yeah. It's flaky.
Ooh.
It's a little flaky.
Beautiful. I can totally see.
See how high it is? Look how high it is.
Yes. Yes. You know? That reminds me of the Floreal quiche that was very tall like that.
Flaky. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. We sampled the pumpkin toffee candy that they have. very good. Like the pizzas were amazing. I know we were in there while you were mixing everything up, and we just couldn't not eat everything.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we don't have much of it to show, but
No, that's great.
we're able to show in there is pretty much what it is. And yes, it is a very tall quiche, and it's very good. It's Miss Ola's go-to.
Every time.
I mean, what can I say other than thank you? And you've brought, I mean, you didn't just bring the gift to me, you brought it to everybody. And I mean, I'm stunned. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. I'm like, there's just so much to think about. And, you know, between this and like I said, with the Rose Levy thing and everything, like, I just really do find that this process of sharing this energy and enthusiasm for something so universal and international is incredible. And you are both like this embodiment of sort of what the industry is about. It's about sharing what you know, not gatekeeping, you know, bringing people in, not keeping people out.
Exactly.
And it's
they've been
beautiful.
so kind here, honestly. Like, they've been very welcoming. They've let us just kind of do whatever. So, you know, it was very, very nice. And it was funny because when Valerie was on with you, she's literally like in there.
Okay.
So you could hear you guys.
You could hear
And,
it.
Miss Ola was so excited, and I heard her excitement through Valerie's audio. So it was very funny.
That is funny. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we say goodbye?
No,
Just come to LA.
Yeah.
Come to LA, please.
I would love to.
Valerie.
All right.
My list here. But yes,
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean, what an amazing evening. This is the best. I think this is the best yet, don't you?
Yeah.
Obviously. And that you guys made the effort. Plus, you were inspired and motivated. And you're going. Do you have the book? Do you have her book?
No, we're going to get it though.
Yes.
We are going to get it.
There you go. We gave that to you.
Thank you.
Okay, so like I would love to do more recipes out of there. I've always wanted to, and like we've got the platform now. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you so much.
thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. All right, now it's time to stir. Yeah, so many of you are in large metropolitan areas. How great would it be to get together and share and go to cool places. All right, let's pull this out and take a look. It's getting darker and I can smell now. And I'm going to show you up close the nuts and show you how they're getting a little darker. And you don't want to touch the nuts on these because I'm telling you they will burn you. The fat is hot. It's hot, hot, hot. So what I do is just take a spoon and I'm going to pull one hazelnut. And you can see it's not super dark yet. It's browning a little bit, but it's not dark. We want it darker. And then the almonds are starting to brown. And you can see a little bit brown on one side, but then on the top, it's still very white. So we're gonna keep watching the nuts and I'm gonna stir them right now. And I'm gonna show you a little better view of how I do that. So I pull and I go around the clock and I just pull the outside in. And you don't have to overthink it. And if you take a long time, this isn't one of those things you have to rush because you are roasting them. So when they go back in the oven, they'll come back up to temp, no problem. It's not like with a cake or you're losing oomph or CO2 or anything. You're really just roasting all of the proteins and the sugars. And so then we'll do this one and then it'll go back in the oven. Unbelievable night. I am proud of all of us because none of this would be working if it weren't for you guys. I used to joke to Dave because I've been doing this now for 3 years, almost 3 years. Well, I'm gonna go bake for my non-existent followers. Like there was really in the very beginning, I didn't even have 100 people, and then I had 1,000, and I wanted to get to 10,000 so bad, and now here we are connecting all over the planet with actual people. It's unbelievable. It's magic. All right, I'm gonna do 10 more minutes, and I don't know, it could be done. I'm not going to assume. I will check it out when it comes out. 10 more minutes. And I can't believe I had Sarah, a former student from Milwaukee Area Technical College. And you know what? That Rishi tea is a Milwaukee company, which is so great. Okay, so we have 10 minutes. Let's see what's going on. We can talk about other things if you like. Now here's the deal, and I'm going to show you my granola that I have. It is so humid that that chocolate is not going to set up, and I really need to get it into an airtight container and get the moisture out of it. Chocolate, please resist the urge to take your granola and put it in the refrigerator to cool it down and to make it set. There is so much humidity in the refrigerator that it messes with real chocolate. So you really want nature to take its course and to solidify. Chocolate is made out of crystals, and those crystals reform as they set, okay? But if you were to freeze it, you know, you're going to want to take it from the freezer to the cooler and then to room temp, and you're going to want to make sure that the moisture can dissipate. So you're not going to want to pull it out and let it reabsorb the moisture. So make a smaller quantity instead of, and it'll last a while at room temperature, Heather. If you wrap it up nice and dry, so that, you know, because moisture is your enemy. So if you can get rid of the moisture, it actually might, I think you could get 2 to 3 weeks at least out of the granola. But I promise you, it won't last that long. All right, we're starting to get some color. I'm going to show you the nuts. It's starting to get a little dark out here. All right. I can hear it like cracking. So let's see if we can, okay, so here's, can you tell it's starting to get just a little bit of brown? See that? I know it's hard to tell in this light, but you can see the golden hue. So I think 10 minutes is going to be more than enough. And then here is an almond. Okay. So it's not as white, and it's not dark yet. It's not burnt. It's not scorched or anything, but it's like creamier looking. It's not as white because almonds are quite white actually. So let me move these around, get them back into the oven, and we'll do 10 more minutes. Now, if after 10 I feel like they need 2 minutes, then I'll give them 2. I'm questioning even 10. So I think I'm going to do 8 minutes. And remember, when you're doing this, you are redistributing the temperature. So you want the outside to go into the middle, and then the middle gets pushed to the outside. Redistributing. Very methodically, go around your edge. And I don't want anyone burning themselves. It's a very hot tray coming right out of a 350-degree oven. And if you use a Silpat, you may, but it might take a little bit longer to crisp up. And Dave, I mean, I think Dave's very excited because we have a whole tray over there plus these. So I don't know if he's going to let any of this go to work. I think he should. I think it's quite a bit, but we'll see. All right, let me see if I can get that so you can see the oven. All right, so let me show you. This is what it looks like. Yeah, and I think this is a little chunkier maybe then, because when I ordered it, it was more broken up. So you can break this up more and get it the texture that you like. This is the texture that I like, but I did not alter the ingredients whatsoever. All right, I'm going to do 8 minutes. Hopefully that won't be too much. But if I smell anything indicating that it's scorching, then I need to back off, obviously. Woo! Yeah, the granola is different than any other granola you've ever had. I've made granola a lot. It's very sophisticated, very sophisticated. I mean, really, it's one of those things with the salt and the chocolate and everything. It's like you can't stop eating it. All right, this could be ready to go. Let's see. Yeah, it's looking pretty dark. Yes, I think this might be ready. I'm not going to put it back in because it is going to continue to cook. Off. Yes, very dark. This is dark enough. So I will show you. You can tell the nuts are nice and brown. So I'm going to show you what the nuts look like, and I'm going to show you what I do with my infrared thermometer. We'll just do this. Okay. Yes, these are very dark. Beautiful. You can see. Brown. Brown. They are hot, very hot. There we go. Brown, and you can see some of the cocoa powder, it's like glued on. The lighting is bad. You can see it's glued on. Okay, and then the almonds. The almonds look like. Oops. And the cocoa nibs and all that, it gets so hot. Let me see. It's hard to tell. Brown. And they're not crunchy right now because they need to reabsorb the moisture and do their thing. Here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I want to show you, this is my infrared thermometer. Infrared thermometers are not meant to be used on things where it's moving, like a griddle that has fat that's sizzling or on sugar that's boiling. They're meant to be on flat things. So you just press and shoot it. Right now this is 236 degrees. Okay, and I can move around the pan, 246, very hot. Chocolate, and we are using real chocolate, melts at around, 90 degrees. If I were to put this onto hot granola, we're going to get cocoa bloom. That is sort of a temperature abuse, and it's going to split it. This is an emulsion. This is going to get split. So we want this to get down to around 100, but I am going to combine them so that they clump together. But also, if you want, you can use chocolate chips. It's up to you. I'm using couverture. But if you have dark chocolate chips, that works just as well. So I'm going to move this over here. All of this is going to go on one tray. I'm going to pick up the paper. Just remember all of these ingredients can like burn you. Almost like caramel. And I'm going to put this on here. And then this is going to cool. So first of all, I'm just going to take this and spread it until it's even. And these will clump as they cool. And the chocolate that I put on top is going to adhere some things together. And what I like about making divots is as the chocolate settles in, it will give me the visual interest and the relief that I need. All right. So this is going to sit right here and cool. That's what it looks like. Dark and beautiful. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this on here so it has more surface area. This, I'm going to wait until it cools to put the chocolate on. And here is the granola from today. This is the granola I made today, and I need that granola to cool down to around 100 degrees before I put the chocolate and the salt on it. This is for granola. Can you see it? Let me hold it still. Some pieces are still shiny. That means they have not solidified, they have not set, and it's soft. So if I were to pick up, this is going to fall apart. So I either need to, because of the humidity, I don't think they're going to solidify. I'm going to leave them overnight. The weird thing about this granola is when I used to make it in a professional setting, I would literally leave it overnight with the bag above it to keep it clean and then come back the next morning. It takes a while for the chocolate to settle down. So tomorrow, the chocolate will make it so you can lift up pieces and enjoy it. But I'm going to pick some up so you can see. We'll pick it apart. I put my apron away. get a bowl. We'll do a bowl with a spoon. Push this back. So I am going to take my little scooper and I'm going to just scoop out. Yeah, the chocolate's very soft. This is what it looks like, and we're going to leave it overnight to solidify. And I will cover it with the parchment to keep it clean. Yeah, it's not clumping because these pieces are soft. And kosher salt. And you can see the salt. And again, it's just horribly humid here. Let's turn this down. This is what it looks like. It's beautiful. It's crunchy. Good dose of salt, a lot of crunch. That is it. We did it. This was amazing. I wouldn't put granola in the refrigerator. You just spent all that time baking it dry. So you want to put it in an airtight container at room temp. You can put it in the fridge if you want. It's just a lot of people have an impulse to put everything in the refrigerator, and that's not the answer all the time. So, and with baking, it never is. I mean, you have to think about why are you doing it? What ingredient is asking you to do that? Because your least, the weakest link is why it needs to go in the fridge. So it has something that's going to get old fast, like a pastry cream, then the whole cake needs to go in the fridge. But these are just nuts and chocolate. This can sit at room temperature forever, but it does need to be dry. Yeah, and if you're selling it, don't put it in the fridge either. Because I'm just telling you, the chocolate does not want to be refrigerated. If you refrigerate it, you risk cocoa bloom. Chocolate is not meant to be refrigerated. It's crystals. It's not a setting magically refrigerated. It is a system of crystals that stack and create snap and shine. And chocolate starts out, these chocolates are in temper. This is in temper. That's why if I put it on a 200-degree granola, it's going to come out of temper and I'm going to get cocoa bloom. So if you put this on there and then tomorrow morning you're like, why does it have streaks all over it? That's not sellable. That's not something you can sell if you're looking to sell it. It's not, you've banged it. You've banged it and you've pushed it. So just know why you're doing it and then make the decision. It is addictive. I'm never in a hurry to do anything, so baking isn't about hurrying. And if you're hurrying, I'm not interested, because you need to let the ingredients do what they do. This is very warm, and I'm gonna put it up here. And what you're going to do, it's down to 160. It's coming down. It still needs another 50 degrees. Is you're going to take your chocolate and sprinkle it evenly over the entire granola. And then right after you do the chocolate, you're going to take your salt and sprinkle it from up high and disperse it very evenly. And I did not use all the salt on the first round. So it is up to you. You can use it all. And it does get dispersed as you bag it or jar it or put it into another container. But I would really what I do for gifts is I take the granola, and we used to sell it in deli cups, and we would just weigh out the right amount. And you do get large pieces. Once the chocolate solidifies, you have these big, beautiful pieces that look great in a bag. And then you would do it to weight, and then you'd put a price on it. So you can do this with clear cellophane bags and a pretty ribbon, and you're good to go. So yeah, tomorrow morning, this is going to be solid. So good. Down to 144. It's going pretty fast. All right, let's see what temp we're at here. All right, I'm gonna break my rule because I want you guys to see me do this. I'm going to put the chocolate and the salt on the granola. It's too hot though, I just want you all to know. It's too hot. I should be doing this, but I'm like a bad parent. I'm gonna give in. Because I want you to see how I do it. And then I'm gonna say goodbye. I've had the most wonderful evening. I think Dave and I are gonna go take a walk around town. Let's see, let's push this over here. I am so hot, I'm sweating. It's really awful. Okay. Gonna put a glove on. So I have my chocolate is pre-scaled. I scale everything out and I chopped it in advance. Some of the pieces are big and some are small. Oh my goodness. And I'm using gloves because these are probably going to work okay. So I'm gonna take this chocolate and like I said, some of the pieces are big. You can't even see. All right, so I always go in a direction. Pardon me, I go left to right like I'm reading, top to bottom. That way I keep track of where I've been and where I'm going. Obviously, if you want, you can just pour it out of the cup. I like to be in control and I like to get it all the way to the edges. If you want, you can stir it in a little bit or just take a spoon and make some divots. But what you want is to have this solidify so that you have basically shingles. And then this is the salt. This is kosher salt. And it's a very generous amount. And it will cycle through, but it's really important to the flavor. That's it. There we go. So this is going to melt, re-solidify, and turn into the most lovely granola that you'll be able to pick up. So let me show you what it looks like. Kitchens, there we go. So it's a lot of salt, a lot of chocolate, and this is going to start to get shiny and melt, and it will fall into the crevices and re-solidify. The best way to store the granola is leave it overnight to set with the parchment over it so it stays clean, and then let it come completely solidified and into an airtight container on the countertop. And it should last weeks if it lasts that long if you don't eat it all. Dave, you know it doesn't need to be stored. You're going to eat it. I made chocolate granola, and I'm going to post this video on YouTube so you can see we talked to Valerie Gordon from her confectionery in California at the beginning of the live, and I made her recipe for chocolate granola out of her book. So go look at the live on YouTube. I'm going to get it up by Friday morning. And it's been an unbelievable live. This has been unbelievable. Yeah, I know, Dave. Haha. So the recipe is on my link tree. You can get it. And it makes a whole half sheet pan. So if you want to cut it in half, yet again, do. I just eat it out of the container. I mean, honestly, like when I just put it in a deli cup and eat it, you can't stop eating it. Fresh fruit is great. I mean, my gosh, like strawberries and raspberries and whatnot. Yeah. This is one of those things. First of all, it's gluten-free and everything, which is amazing. But it's such a beautiful gift, and you can put it in a pretty jar or in a bag. I mean, I did a video on it under granola. You can find it with just a pretty tag and everything. And it looks beautiful with red ribbon or blue. Like the chocolate goes with everything. Fruit's optional. It's just so good. I can't even. So good. But yeah, unfortunately, I was thinking about making the granola last night, but I wanted to do it this morning so it's fresher. Yeah, Greek yogurt would be good because it's not too sweet. Special shout out to Memes and Miss Ola. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I think everyone appreciated it. Yeah, the cocoa nibs and everything. It's rich and delicious. The recipe is on my link tree, or you can buy the book Sweet by Valerie Gordon. It's in there as well. I mean, amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I think Dave is going to have to decide how much he wants to keep. I don't know why I haven't been making enough for him lately, but I haven't. I mean, we have two half sheet trays, Dave. I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to put these on there. What I'll do is put them on my speed rack, put a parchment on top, and then leave them for the night, and they'll solidify. All right. All right. This is the Midwest goodbye. Bye, everyone. Take care. Thank you so much. Happy